Hey, hey, hey. Hey, y'all. It's Robin, your glamour planner. How are you tonight? I know it's been a while, and I said I wasn't going to go live on Thursdays again, but I am what you call in the lab. So I'm making a tincture. So what I did is, since I'm here making this tincture late, I said, let me just go live and see how my glamour family is doing. And I'll even take some questions, some herbalist questions, so we can do the Ask an Herbalist, tie it all into one. I'm not going to stay on here long because I did change my day. I am still considering going to Mondays or Fridays, so I'm still working it out, y'all. So I have been sick. I did tell you guys I was sick. I didn't want to get on and chat with you guys. I love my girls, Mona, Miss Peachnut, and everybody, all the lovely people that be on the live with us. But I haven't gotten my voice back. And the thing about it is, guys, I take my coworker gave me some chlorocidin. I take my own herbal remedies, but I have to remind myself, and that's why I wanted to go live, because I need to explain that to you guys. Just because we are an herbalist does not mean we will not get sick. That's just the fact. Depending on our environment, there's still environmental factors that affect people getting sick. I had explained how, my coworker came back sick. She went away somewhere and came back. Then she was sick, and she's still, trying to get that cough and stuff up out her system. And she's taking her black seed oil. She's not as sick as she could be. She does, get her herbal. I'm her herbalist, so I do help her along the way. But it doesn't escape the fact that she did go away. She did get sick when she came back. And needless to say, I'm sick. And today I heard my other coworker sneezing today. So I don't know if he gonna be sick or men. The second thing, let's deal with that too. Men don't really get sick. Let's just be honest. Because their jobs and things that how they move, they're more active than women. That's just a fact. Men are just more active than I'm gonna say most men. I mean most men are more active than women, that they're constantly going. Their workload is different than a woman's oftentimes. um, so I'm not taking away from women, I'm not taking away from men, I'm just saying, so men rarely get sick. Normally they get beat down. Men could be sick and still working and moving, so it's just different. So I wanted to get on here and maybe take your questions. I'm sorry, I'm still sounding a little hoarse, still sounding a little raspy. I looked outside earlier. It looked like some snowflakes was coming, y'all. I don't do good in the snow. I don't do good in the snow, and I don't do good with the cold. But the good news is, getting this out of my system, I've extremely boosted my immune system because I had run out. Well, it's not that I ran out of fire cider. I already had fire cider ready to go. I just didn't extract it. So I extracted it, and I'm telling you, y'all, I think this is my most potent fire cider I've ever made. I'm talking about from the time of touching it with my tongue, I felt the shock wave through my whole body. So there's nobody that can tell me that fire cider does not work, does not boost the immune system. I frequently give fire cider to people, and it works. So I have been taking it. It's just the fact that I still caught the cold. My immune system is 100 times better than it used to be. I could be near anybody coughing. I mean, I've been around people for the last 2 years and I haven't gotten sick. I have not needed medication. I have not needed anything. And it's part of why I think it just took me a couple of days longer, because I refuse to take medication. I have faith in my body, faith in my mentality to know and remind my body that it has the ability to heal itself. That I do not need to seek Western medicine in order to do that. Now, if I had a chronic condition, something that I couldn't get rid of, like say if I caught the C or something like that, I still rely on natural medicine. But if it got to the point where I could not handle it, then yes, I would seek medical attention. That's just the bottom line. But I already knew. I know that my body was fighting. And I also know, and let me explain this too. People take cough medicines and all of those things, and all it does is mask the symptoms. Let's be clear. When you take those things, they mask your symptoms. When you're taking a nasal thing because you're sneezing and your nose is running, you know that you're forcing the toxins back in your body? The reason your nose is dripping is because all that had built up, all the mucilage, mucus, all of that had built up is looking for a place to get out. And it must come out of your nose whether you're sneezing. When you cough, which is important. And I'm not saying you need to be coughing for hours and hours and all that. Yes, seek medical attention, seek medicine. But if you are coughing, please understand, you can Google this. When you cough, your body is breaking up the mucus that's in your chest. That's why often when you cough, you can feel the mucus come up in your throat and you should spit it out. If you don't spit it out, just rotating back into your digestive system. If it comes up, you should do your best to make it to a garbage can or tissue or a bag, whatever you got, to get it out, because that's the mucus breaking up in your system. What happens is pneumonia is you have all that fluid and mucus on your lungs, and you want to get that out of your system. So it's important to understand that's what coughing does. That's what runny nose does. Even when your eyes are watering, all of that is a cleansing process. Okay? And I'm not saying don't seek medical attention when you can. Always seek medical attention, especially if you have a chronic condition. If it's things that you feel that you can handle, by all means, you have to do what's best for you. So, with all that said, I didn't want to get on the live because I didn't want to have this hoarse voice and things like that. And you guys, I don't want you to think that herbalists just don't get sick, because that's just not true. Um, we just don't get, well, I'm going to say for myself, I don't get as sick as I used to, and I don't be sick for weeks and things at a time. I remember in 2022, I think it was like November, I was sick so bad. It took me weeks to get bad. And no, I did not have COVID, just my immune system was weak. And that's when I started saying, you know what, I have to start doing more. I have to be proactive about my health. I can't wait till I'm sick to think that I want to boost my immune system and it's going to immediately work for me. No, it is the process of taking care of yourself over a period of time. It's like with your adaptogens. Remember how I explained how adaptogens, you are taking care of yourself over a period of time. Your body is adjusting over time. It is taking in nutrients and things that it needs, and then it's using it over a period of time to continue to make yourself better. And that's what it does. That's what your body has the ability to heal itself, but you got to give it the right conditions. And the right conditions means that I am walking, I'm getting as much walking as I can. I am sleeping, I am resting like I'm supposed to. I work overnights on the weekend. So I gotta get all my rest during the week. So, and then even when I get off on the weekends, I'm resting. But I have things going on. Like this weekend, this Saturday, I'm teaching a canning class. Which is gonna be really great because I'm big on telling people how to use their fruits and veggies, how to store them, how to preserve them. So I'll be doing that. So, rest gonna be limited on Saturday, but it's okay because it's for a good cause, especially given the time period we live in. So and this is my favorite, kind of my favorite time of the year is getting these things and preserving them. So I wanted to show you. So what I made is an oxymel. So an oxymel is where you combine your herbs, a herbal tea, along with vinegar and along with honey. That's an oxymel. An oxymel is just mean you are getting all of those properties out of the herbal tea blend that you made, whether it is vitamins, your water-soluble vitamins, your minerals, and things of that nature. So that's what the oxymel does, and it's combined with honey. So you're also getting health benefits of honey. Now, listen right here. I can see, let me see. Okay. So I'm sorry, I know I just like hopped on here, but I want to be able to just drop in with you guys. I'll be back on. When I do the Canon event, I am going to go live when I do that. So you guys will be able to see that from the beginning as well. So that's this Saturday at 3 o'clock. Make sure y'all stay tuned. I'll try and put it up on there. So again, this is my Oxymel. So with this Oxymel, that new batch of fire cider that I had, let me tell you, I ate, had a fresh pineapple, cut it up, and when I ate it, certain people have an allergy to the pineapple. I didn't realize that mine was that deep. And I think that it comes and goes. Or unless I've been eating some fake pineapple, because a fresh pineapple I had, a non-GMO one I had, and that bromelain, which is the active compound in pineapple that causes most people to have an allergic reaction to it. Its protective properties basically, but a lot of people will have allergic reaction to it. So excuse me, y'all, I had an allergic reaction to it. And I made the mistake of, since I was still sick, I was eating fruit, just no real big appetite, soup or something like that. But I ate the pineapple, and I'm telling you, tore my mouth up. Well, I go and I take the oxymel on top of the pineapple. Y'all want to talk about a mouth on fire? So besides that, oxymel, or with that, so instead of the tea, basically, I added some herbs in here. I added my fire cider and honey. And then if you can see, I've added garlic and onion. And I've been taking 2 teaspoons every morning, 2 teaspoons at night. If I'm coughing during the day, I'll take a teaspoon, maybe a teaspoon and a half. I try to put it underneath my tongue. And then I also take a teaspoon of honey, because my body is well. I feel well. My mind is well and everything. It is just, hey, hi, stranger. How you been? How you been? I have not seen you on any live. I pray that you are well. I miss you. I pray that you are well. Um, so with this, I took it, and then with my coughing. So like for instance, yes, I'm still hoarse, and that's just because I probably just got still more mucus. I mean, it has to come out, and I take a teaspoon of honey, because the coughing and sneezing has my throat raw. So the honey helps to coat it. But the honey, and if my body's trying to expel these mucus and these toxins, the honey is in. I'm so glad you are good. Look, I'm stopping. I'm so glad you're good. Um, it helps because it is antibacterial, antimicrobial. So it is helping with everything else that I'm taking. So besides the honey being in this oxymel, it is also in the antibacterial that I'm taking by itself. Okay, and antimicrobial, which is probably, it helps the process of how I'm feeling. So fire cider on top of that. And teas. I was taking a tea. My blood pressure had went up, and I could tell. I saw it. And you know what's funny? There's something really, really funny. Sis, listen. You know what, sis? I'm so with you. When I tell you, that's why I love you. I'm telling you, I've been doing that. My reading, my getting in my prayers, like I really have been doing it, and I'm not saying God takes away from me doing His work as well, but I needed that too this time. It's taken me time to find my place during the week, to get back on here, because getting sleep was important to me. I was getting sleep and, getting up. I hated to feel like I was abandoning my girls, but I had gone back to working, and I needed to get some rest. So I did that. And then my studies, when I tell you my mind is so sharp, says my mind is so sharp, my heart is so pure, and the work that I do, when I tell you I gave out so much food today, like I gave out so much food. Me and my team here, we gave out so much food. When I tell you, senior citizens were calling us on the phone, saying that they've been calling around to different people throughout the city, throughout our county, and trying to get food. And I'm talking about, so We have been bagging up food, and we have been dropping it off to the homes because senior citizens can't get to a pantry. They can't get to a food bank. They're not driving. The one lady I went to, she come to the door with a breathing machine. You know, I had to, God had to take me through to do all of that. You know what I'm saying? And it was definitely necessary, you know, and I've been doing that. I don't want nobody to think that I missed, you know, abandoned or anything like that. My mission is still clear. I'm still going to get on here and help us get well, help us to be well. You know, I got granddaughters counting on me to do that. But that's some of the work that I've been doing, you know what I mean? And driving and, you know, hearing, you know, them in need and being able to help people in need, you know, that was important to me. So I was doing that. And so I'm back. And oh, and I've been doing disaster preparedness, helping in those areas. I've been doing herbal classes, herbal wellness in the community. So thank you. It was important. So, you know, and that's what I've been doing. It was important. So I'm glad to hear the same thing that, you know, we have to take some time for us. And that's important. So I want to get on here because I don't know if you remember God Desire. On Miss Georgia Peachnut channel, I was kept asking her, you're going to tincture sage. Why are you tincturing sage? Like, I need to know why. I'm sorry. I'm trying to read too. Yes, honey. And then I'm about to explain to you why I got the beats, okay? So, so I kept asking God's desire. Man, listen, I told God I am his. I am his. I am his. Listen, I'm gonna leave it like that. Listen. But so I kept saying, why are you tincturing sage? Because it's important for me that if you guys are learning from me, I want you to get the important facts for me. That when you are sharing it on your channel, you are sharing it to the best of your ability, but you're sharing it from a well-informed decision. You know what I'm saying? Like you're able to explain to your audience why you're doing what you're doing. And that's why I kept asking her, okay, why are your beats? Like, I mean, why you're tincturing sage? Because you want to be able to explain to people, okay, am I doing it for the vitamins? Am I doing it for the minerals? Am I doing it for its oil soluble properties? Am I doing it for its mineral and vitamin soluble properties? Like, I need to know why you're doing it. Right. Listen, I don't think people understand that, you know. And I'm not talking about Miss Georgia. Like when I say she's a million questions asked, she's a million questions asked, 10 toes down. So I say that to say, so there's when we're dealing. So I'm gonna show you now. So this is the alcohol that I'm gonna use to tincture, right? This is 100. No, I'm sorry. This is 80 proof. Okay, so you should always use 80 to 100 proof, right, for your properties, for your foods. Okay, 80 to 100% proof. So this one means it is 40% alcohol, 40% water, and then you know that's that ethanol alcohol. If you don't know what vodka is, okay, and so we are using that percentage of that alcohol in it. So this is my alcohol. And I laugh because Miss Georgia Peachnut is so right. Miss Peachnut, you know, it alcohol costs when you making a tincture, baby. But I'm gonna give you some tips today. And you're gonna see that you can tincture, you will see most of my tinctures are non-alcohol. I use vinegar because number one, if a person is diabetic, you don't want to use alcohol. Alcohol is going to feed into their diabetes. If a person is pregnant or if a person is taking medication, you definitely don't want to use alcohol making that tincture. Listen, sis, that's what we about to do today, okay? So that's a main reason, okay? Other than that, alcohol is what we call a broad spectrum. Not only is it good for almost any and everybody, except for children, And I'll explain to you. When I do the next live, I'll explain to you because I get a lot of people that ask me about making tinctures and infusions and things for children. I'm gonna go into. I'll do our herbs for children. We'll definitely go into that. One of them herbs for children. Okay, and then so with this, it's important that you do that because it's a broad spectrum. It again is really pretty much for any and everybody. But vodka extracts the most properties, soluble properties from. That's what they say. But I'm about to explain to you its limitations. So vodka, it will and it goes quicker into the bloodstream. The thing about it is when you're making a tincture, tincture is put directly into under your tongue, right? And the thing about it with having a high potency thing like alcohol, you don't need a lot. And I remember we were on Miss Georgia Peachnuts Live this week, and they were telling her, don't take a lot. And I was trying to say exactly, don't you put a whole bunch of drops in there. If she had 100 proof alcohol, you don't need that many drops. And then you don't have to take it directly under the tongue. You can put a couple drops, two, three drops in a cup of tea, depending on the herb. Now we're going back to what material we're using to tincture. It depends on what you're using it for. If you say I'm going to tincture chamomile, because I know that it helps to relax the brain, relax the mind, reduce anxiety, soften your mood, things like that, then I know that's the properties that I'm going to pull from it. And then that's good for an alcohol tincture because those are non-vitamin, non-minerals, like that. It's non-water soluble properties. Now, while our alcohol does contain water, right? It will still pull some minerals, it will still pour some vitamins, but I'm talking about a very limited amount, okay? So people tell you, oh, alcohol, alcohol, alcohol. It is not the number one. It still is good because most people don't tincture for vitamins and minerals. So let me put it like that. Most people are tincturing because they want its amazing health benefits. Like, for instance, beets are anti-inflammatory, right? Beets are not only anti-inflammatory, but they improve digestion. Beets also help with your brain health, right? So beets also help to balance out your energy levels, helps to maintain weight. And while this is also going to go along with the properties of alcohol, but going to even go better with vinegar, but it helps to balance that water ratio in the body, and it helps to regulate blood pressure. So this is a great way. This is why you would tincture with alcohol. But because it's high in manganese, magnesium, it's high in fiber, it's high in folate, high in potassium, high in manganese, it's high in all these, you know, it is what you call a super food, right? So when I take a superfood and I add it to an alcohol tincture, this alcohol tincture becomes a super tincture. I'm going to say that again. If I take a super food and I add it to a main alcohol-based tincture, I turn this alcohol into a super tincture. You understand that? Superfood makes a super tincture. Okay? So that's the difference with that. And that's why Miss Peachner and anybody else that is watching, that's why I asked the question. Why are you tincturing? What properties are you trying to draw from it? If I'm doing it, like for instance, and let me tell you the other one. I found out you don't need as high a content of alcohol if you use brandy. You only need 40% alcohol if you use a brandy, 40 to 60%, I believe, if you use a brandy. So this is a brandy. It is considered a very good brandy. I don't drink it, but I've been told. I did my research. I like it. Same thing. A lot of herbalists are starting to use brandy because of its properties too. Quicker properties. Alcohol has it delivers the nutrients into the body quicker. It gets into the bloodstream quicker. Anything that goes under the tongue is going to go directly into the bloodstream, but you want those properties that it releases. It releases it. And the thing about it, I'll let my tincture sit for a long time You do not have to let this sit for 8 and 12 weeks like I'll be doing. You can do your 4 weeks with alcohol. You can do, I would suggest 6 weeks. I don't do nothing less than 6 weeks, you know. Do not heat it. Do not put it in a jar, in a double boiler. Do not heat alcohol, please. Please do not heat your alcohol. Alcohol is not meant for the double boiler method, okay? And I promise I won't be on here long. So, I'm telling y'all, this tincture got me. This oxybel is drying me out. I have to drink a lot of water to go with it. So, this is my alcohol. This is my brandy that I am using for this. Okay, I've cleaned this mason jar out. This is what I'll be using for the beets, right? Then I mix, if I don't have enough, or if I'm making a large batch of a tincture with the vinegar, I like to use apple cider vinegar. I don't always have it. Normally, I'll make my own. Excuse me. See, yes, that breaking up in me. Normally, I make my own, y'all. It's not hard to make apple cider vinegar. The funny thing is, I got orders for apple pies and sweet potato pies. As again, if you've been with me for a while, you know I make pies and sell them for the holidays. So, vinegar. Vinegar is my number one tincture. Mostly because this is more of a broad spectrum for me, because anybody can take it except for children under 13 years of age. I do not give tinctures that contain vinegar to children under 13. I know that it says children under 5. I do not like to give it to children under 13. You know, I have grandchildren. I do make them a mixture, but I prefer to give them a tea infusion. Believe it or not, a lot of my clients, I give them the water method to start them off on an infusion. Believe it or not, most of the properties in the herbs and plants, like vitamins and minerals and things that they need, is mostly can come through a water, which is a tea, or it comes through vinegar. Okay, vinegar extracts the most soluble, water soluble vitamins, minerals, nutrients. Let me just take a look here real quick. I want to make sure I say it all. Um, so it gets the most, it extracts the most water soluble compounds from your tincture. Whatever your tincture, whether it's herbs, whether it's fruit, whether it's vegetables, um, vinegar is going to extract the most water soluble properties. That's all your vitamins, all your minerals, all of those compounds, mucilage. So like okra, for instance. And I don't know if you guys seen yes, the brandy. They've I just really got into it. I've heard of it. I know that they use brandy. I just never used brandy, sis. So I started using it and I found out it's pretty good. And um especially because it's a dark color too. So if you use a clear jar to tincture it in, you still put it in a cool, dry place, but that brandy is not gonna, that sunshine or light is not gonna affect it too much. So all of the mucilages, so plants that have extract mucilage, or ones that break up mucus, ones that extract mucus from the body. Those are the ones that you want. Again, so making teas with your herbs and stuff is still the most best way to get the most nutrients. If you're going for the nutrients. Now, if I'm going for the anti-inflammatory properties, I'm going for the anti-cancer properties. I'm going for the let me see, anti-inflammatory, antioxidants. Um, let's see, what else? If I want to improve, so like ginkgo is great for the brain, great for memory, like rosemary, same way. Then I would use definitely tincture with alcohol, because those are the properties that I wanted to extract from. I'm not worried too much about the vitamins and minerals because my diet is going to take care of that. So that's why it's important to know why I'm doing this. Basically not, you don't have to worry why you pick that. Basically, what properties and are you trying to extract from that plant material? So again, guys, excuse me, it's important to know that this is medicine too. We really, really have to understand. Hey, how are you? Oh, Lord have mercy. But hey Tixie. Oh, that's nice. God's desire. I didn't see Tixie come in. I must have missed her. Hey Tixie. I know a lot of people lives is coming in. Tixie. You funny. Yeah, you hear my you hear my voice? Listen, it was a lot worse than this. This is the ending stage. This is the rounding it out stage. You like my hat, huh? But so again, that's why it's important, because when we are making this, it's not so much as that you're giving it to other people, but you just knowing for yourself why you're doing certain things, because it is medicine. It is for a health benefit, whether it's for you, whether it's for your family, or whether you're giving it to other people, since other people, it's important to know. You want to be able to share that with people and tell them, what it is that you're doing, why you're doing. And then I could say, oh, my brother, he don't feel good. Heck, he needs something. He's in a lot of pain. So I need to get him some anti-inflammatory tincture. I need to throw him some superfood, or throw him some anti-inflammatory herbs in a vinegar, so that he can make it. I know. I am making a beet tincture. I was just explaining. Look at this big one that I got. And listen, I washed everything. I am not going to skin it because if you deal with beets, you already know what's going down. That it's gonna be everywhere. Now I've been dealing with beets for the past 2 weeks. I've been making beets and putting it in my salad. And when I tell you, what I did was all of my fruit, like for instance, like the banana peel, the pineapple. When I ate the pineapple, I cut the skin off. I put all of it in my hot pot and I brought it to a boil. I added some honey to it. I added some cinnamon to it, and I made my own drink. I called it a health drink, a vitamin drink, a nutrient drink, right? Oh yeah, listen. These beets, man, superfood. Make sure you get them. If your beets are not organic, didn't just come out the garden, then I promise you, you're gonna need to take that skin off. Okay? Mine came from the garden. I know they were not sprayed with pesticides. So listen, I need you guys to make sure that you know where it came from. So we're going to get started. We're going to tincture because I wasn't going to be on here long. But if you did not catch the beginning of my video, I did a lot of explanation. When I'm done, please go back and watch it from the beginning. That way you get an idea, as if you want to. But I would appreciate you. If you just join me, make sure you hit the like button. If you're watching in the background, please hit that like button. I appreciate it. Can't wait to harvest some beets. Yes. So I am not, that's what I'm going to do. I am going to pickle some of the beets because I seen a banging recipe of people pickling beets. And it's so funny. I always thought beets were nasty. But I've been eating them in my salad, and I have to tell you, they're pretty darn good. Like, seriously. So I think I'm trying to pick which ones that I'm going to. Those will be the ones that I'll pickle. And then I'll share the recipe. I'm doing a canning class this Saturday at 3 o'clock. So I am going to go live. And I'll show you the beets that I'm pickling beets. I'm also doing meals in a jar, where they can put the whole meal in a jar, seal it, and save it for when they need it. And I think it's going to be great for families. Like, they can add the rice. So if you know you need a certain amount of cups to feed 4 people in the house, you're going to add that much rice. You're going to add some beans to it. They can even add meat. I'm not doing the meat right now. Actually, I had some chicken the other day, but I got back on meat to say the least, for now. And so they'll be able to do that. So I don't want to touch my face, y'all. Um, let's do this again. So I am going to pickle some. I'm going to leave those, and then I'm going to, actually, I really need the big ones to put in this jar. I'll just get some more because I do want, this is a jar I'm going to be using, right? So now, again, when I'm using vinegar, I am drawing its properties out of it. And I don't want you to think that I'm not going to use alcohol for the beets. I am going to do a separate jar for alcohol and the beets because, again, a superfood makes a super tincture. So I am going to make a super tincture. I have some smaller jars at the house that I'm going to tincture tonight, but I'm just going to cut these up here so they're ready, and I'm going to put them in a Ziploc. Then I'll take them home. They'll be ready to put into the jar for my tincture for the alcohol. Okay, so now for here, again, I'm using all of the beet. I'm not cutting nothing out. I'm using everything here. And remember, you only need enough menstruum, which is your vinegar or your alcohol, to cover how much of your base that you have, how much of your botanical product that you have. Okay, beets are normally really hard, so I do have my big knife, but I'm going to use, since these are smaller, I'm going to use the smaller knife. Okay, so let's go ahead. So I have my jar. Oh, let me show you this. This one here, I think I picked it up and put it back. So this here is my tincture that I did today. I have to label it. The other thing is, when you tincture, please have your labels ready. You need to know what's in your tincture. This right here is what I'm calling a super green. You know how I put all my greens in the jars and I dry them, and then I powder them down to add to smoothies and drinks and soups and stews like that? Well, I decided to put a bunch of greens together and do a tincture with it. This is a vinegar is my menstruum. That's the base of it, but it has everything from dandelion greens, Swiss chard, kale greens, all because I want those iron, I want the vitamins, I want all of that out of this tincture, okay? And so I started it today. It will not be ready till 6 weeks from now. And the funny thing is, you can see, because when you make a tincture, you're botanical. You know, you only have to do 3/4 of the way, and then the rest should be your, if you want to add, you'll do liquid in it, right? Your menstrual, whatever menstruum you're using, you'll add that for the rest, because your base expands. You have to leave room for your product to expand. So this actually expand, because I promise you it was like down here, and it is expand. And when I did it and I shook it back up, because I want to make sure that there was no air bubbles or nothing, I was able to add more vinegar to it. And then it's just rising. If you can see, there's a lot of liquid down here, but it's rising up towards the top. So I'm probably going to push that down some more and just add more. I want to just bring it all the way up to the top. Now, remember, when you are making a tincture with your alcohol and your vinegar, they act as a preservative, but they also protect the plant, protect it from going rancid. So it's important. What a mistake that I used to do is I used to forget to put a coffee filter over it or some kind of parchment paper over it, and it would erode, like those the steel lids, and some of those lids are aluminum. I need you guys to really, really feel me on this. Do not use the aluminum lids, okay? Not when you're using alcohol. Um, I would say never. If you could get one with just a regular lid, mason jar lid, please do that. That aluminum is still leaking into your product. I hate to say it, but it really is. Um, I'm sorry, I'm trying to read as I'm doing this too. I don't have my glasses on. Do you use vinegar, and what type of vinegar do you use? So this is the other thing about vinegar. I'm glad you asked that question too, right? I'm using vegetable glycerin and vodka as my, okay. You can do that. So that's the thing about it. Glycerin is excellent too. There's water, there's glycerin, there's vodka, brandy, and your alcohol, right? So what vinegar I use is distilled vinegar. And I'm going to tell you the only reason why I'm using distilled vinegar, because, now I'm going to drop my oxymel. they stopped selling regular vinegar. I need regular vinegar. I don't know if I told you guys, but the distillation process robs vinegar of its nutrients, right? I know they are, and actually, that's why it's different. It's a little bit different for vinegar than it is for distilled water. What I will tell you is don't use distilled water. That's the main one. Do not use distilled water. I hear a lot of herbalists telling people use distilled water. That's because they haven't done any research on distilled water. Okay? Stay away from the distilled water. I'm leery of distilled vinegar because of the same thing that happens to the water. It's robbed of some of its nutrients. And it is when you do that distillation process, the product is steady trying to get its nutrients back. So it's okay for tincture because it's trying to pull all of the minerals and nutrients out of it. We wanted to do that, right? It's not the same thing with water. Don't believe it. So I'm using distilled vinegar only because it's probably one of the purest and cleanest on the market. I have not seen regular vinegar since they started selling distilled vinegar. I'm a little leery the moment they start using and pushing a product. So just do your research on it. I'm using it because it's what they had there. But what I am doing is I'm not using distilled vinegar by itself. I am using apple cider vinegar. I use both. When I use the distilled vinegar, I'm using some apple cider vinegar along with it. Okay. So that's this one. This one is the reason, and I like this one too. I haven't had any issues with this one. I get this from Aldi because it's only $3.29, and you get this big old one. Be careful, they sell a cleaning vinegar in Dollar Tree. That's not the same thing. Please, 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 please. Please don't use that. Not for making no tinctures or whatever. If you're going to use it to clean your house, read the ingredients. There's too many ingredients on it for me. It should only be vinegar. I don't know why it needs to say cleaning vinegar. It should just be vinegar. But, excuse me. That's what it says. Okay? Oh my God. I was just explaining that I use my homemade vinegar. Only reason I'm not using it now is because I don't have one. I didn't have one ready. I only had tinctures and I had fire cider. And the last apple cider vinegar that I made, I used on the last tincture. So I used on the last fire cider. So that was the last one I had. I do need to make some. I was explaining how I just got a bunch of apples. So I saved a few for me so that I can make some apple cider vinegar. But let me get to cutting these beets, right? That's what we're doing. So here, this is the vinegar that I'm using. That is the one tincture I already got going. Again, I explained to you why I am doing it with that. And I have a cutting board here, but I hate that the beet juice. Now, what I am told is that a lot of these companies now, because we've been raising heck about excuse me, their ingredients, their food coloring, that they are starting to color things red with beet. Excuse me, ground beet, dried beet powder, which is better. I need a mask, y'all. Hold on. Excuse me, let me get a mask. I don't want to cough over this. Hold on, give me a quick second. Now, if it persists, then I will put my mask up. I don't like this either. But I left my hand sanitizer, my own, at home. I don't like anything that stay on your hand. But because I'm making this tincture and it'll not be for my own personal use, they need to be clean at all times. Okay. All right, so let's get back clean. All right, did I miss any questions? Okay, I want to make sure I didn't miss any. God's desire, absolutely. If you use honey, you could definitely use honey. But it's just not called a tincture when you use honey. It's an infusion. When you use honey, it's an infusion. Okay? You definitely can use honey because that's what my cough syrup is in. Honey. Oh, and vinegar. Y'all remember all of the cough syrup that I made last year with the star anise, cinnamon, and all that? How come I used it all and gave it all out? Gave it all out. I only had a little bit in my fridge. And it lasts a long time. So, that's the best part about it. It does last a long time. So, I am cutting up my plant. And this is actually a root. I do have the leaves from the beet. I could tincture that too. I think what I may do with that is put that in the alcohol. So I'm doing a vinegar for this one. I'll do the alcohol for the leaves because believe it or not, the plant actually has more, just as many benefits, if not, I think a little bit more when it comes to beet. That's why they tell you to eat beet greens. You know how you have beet greens in your garden? Those greens are very nutritious and have some amazing compounds. So not just the root, the greens have amazing compounds. So don't throw those greens away just because you're tincturing the root, okay? All right. More of your... Okay, I got you guys' desire. Did you like it? I use honey. Oh, you use honey to pickle the beets. Oh. No, I didn't think about that. Think about that, all those properties. So you're making a super honey. Does the honey turn red? Does the honey turn red from the beets? That's what I want to know. Did the honey turn red? All right, so look at this. See this? I already have a lot in here, but there's a lot of space in there. Right? So I'm going to get down here to these some more. And I'll tell you, that beet skin is serious, y'all. I mean, it cuts off very easily. I'm so glad you love it. We will chat. I will get you some more, I promise. I'll send you out some more. And I won't take forever to send it. I think so I might make these a little bit smaller so they're not taking up as much room because I'm getting up there. These things are pretty big. I was putting like the whole circle in there. But I wanted a whole jar because I want to get as many properties from it as possible, y'all. When I say this is a superfood, this is a superfood, I'm gonna have a super tincture. Now, if I run out of vinegar, which I shouldn't, for here, when I run, if I run out, I bought 3 gallons of vinegar. So I'm gonna have plenty, plenty, plenty. But I am gonna use alcohol for one. And I was gonna do that with the greens. But I think I may add a couple of these last ones into that. I wonder if this is gonna stain my jar. Can y'all see my jar? Let me see. Let y'all see. So that's my jar of beets. Right? So this right here, I'm tincturing beets. My menstruum is vinegar. And if you need me to explain anything else, or because you're watching a replay or something like that, please leave me a comment. I'll be happy to answer whatever question you have that I didn't cover or you may have missed in here. So again, it only needs to be, supposed to be only 3/4 of the way, right? So I think this will count as that only because there's space down at the bottom. So I believe this is our 3/4, right? So we are going to get our vinegar. What I want to do is pour some of this out. Now, what I'm going to do is I put a bay leaf in there. You do not have to. For me, it's just another caution for its antimicrobial, antibacterial properties is why I add the bay leaf in there. You do not have to. That's just me. That's just a me thing that I do. I do that. I put that in with my other tincture. So I poured the apple cider vinegar up to here. Just 1, 2, 3. A little less than 1/4 of the way. And I'm going to add some more on top. Now, look, you know what's so funny? And it's so easy for them to use our vegetables and herbs to color our food. I'm simply pouring the vinegar in. The vinegar is already red. Like, seriously. Like, I'm already pouring it in, and it is completely red. Right? So I have more than enough vinegar, and I don't have to cover it, the entire jar. I only need to come up until I've actually covered every beet. Right? So look, I can tincture something else. Right? So I'm going to add some more of the apple cider vinegar. I just feel like the apple cider vinegar is a bit stronger. And again, I'm still going to put a coffee filter over there. You can use parchment paper. You can use a coffee filter. Even though this is a mason jar, it does not rust on here. Okay? But I still like to put it in there. I don't know why. I just do. Now, I'm going to close that up. So when you are making a tincture, you need several things that you have to put on it. Number one, you got to put the name of it. What is inside of it, right? So I'm going to name, this is going to be called beet tincture, right? Then I'm going to put the date. And then you have to put what your menstruum is. My menstruum hyphen is vinegar. So I'm using vinegar. I'll put vinegar / ACV. Okay, that tells me what menstruum I used in order to make this tincture. Okay, so you have to put those 3 things on there. One, the date is important because you need to know. Now, there is a slight difference. A tincture with vinegar does not last as long as one with alcohol. While a tincture with vinegar may get you a year or 2, whatever, depending on the condition of it, how you keep it. But tincture with alcohol, the brandy can last you 5 years or indefinitely. Okay, so there is a difference. Okay, there is that slight difference, you know. And that's one of the reasons why we like to use the alcohol. Because listen, and the other thing is, and it's the same thing with the vinegar, same thing with the alcohol. You do not need a lot of the tincture. It really is depending on how chronic your condition is. So that would only tell you how many times a day you need to put it. Okay. Whereas a normal thing you're doing, you can do it twice a day. But if you have a chronic condition or you're trying to build up your system for some reason, you may do 4 drops a day. You know what I mean? 4 drops maybe in the morning, maybe twice a day if your condition is that chronic. But if you're just doing it on a regular basis to build out or, act it as an adaptogen to, build overall health over time, you could do 2 drops under the tongue a day. That's something simple. Like I would do a couple drops of black seed oil or a couple drops of a tincture under the tongue once a day. Just because I'm building up my system for whatever reason that I am using that tincture. If I have a chronic condition, say like my blood pressure is up and I'm trying to regulate my blood pressure, then I know I'm trying to take it, more of it, to have a more potent effect. But it's the fact of doing it over a period of time is what has the overall effect. You don't want to shove it all down your body, all at once, thinking that's what's going to do it. No, you need to take it, but you need to be mindful of taking it. It is still medicine. All medicine originated from plant medicine. We were using plant medicine before we used medicinal Western medicine. So just be mindful that making tinctures, making infusions, making decoctions, making oxymels or anything like that, it's still medicine. It's a botanical medicine, but it's nonetheless still a medicine. Okay, so I'm just shaking this up. Look how red that is. I probably could paint with this color. Okay, and that's the other thing with a mason jar. It came out. Okay. So I'll cover this. I do cover this though, guys, because it is a clear jar. I do cover it and I do put it in a dark place. Okay. And I'll let this infuse. It will not be ready no less than 6 to 8 weeks. Are there any more questions? So this one is done. Look at that. All of that. Oh, and make sure you wipe off your utensils because that bead stuff will be on there, baby. And this is the one knife I always seem to use when I'm doing beads. It always turns red. But I'll go wash it after this. So are there any other questions? Ladies, anybody? Yeah, super, super, super. Super, super potent. And then I have some more beets that I'm going to use that I'm going to pickle for canning class. I'm probably going to grab some more. But look at this one. This one is already growing. I wonder if I could cut this and put it in the ground like that. Or would I have to? That's funny. Do you have to reroot the root? You have to stick the whole thing in the ground to make more. What I did when I had some little, excuse me, some turnips, I cut them, right? And I kept the half of it, and I cut all the part off of them. They were big too. That I got out of the garden, and I left these little pieces. I put them in the garden, and I let the greens come out. I ate the turnip greens. Like I literally ate the greens. I kept cutting the greens as they were coming. I would take off the bigger ones and leave the little ones, and it kept coming. It's so weird. But I don't know if that'll happen with the beet because how it's made. I mean, I guess it's the same as a turnip, but I wonder if you have to put the whole thing in the ground. Like, what'll happen? An experiment we'll have to try. But, my loves, that is it. I know we got several lives and things going on right now. I appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me while I do this tincture right here. I know I'm not 100%. My voice is not 100%, but I just wanted to come over here. I know, right? I'm tempted to stick it in the ground. I'm so tempted to stick this little bad boy in the ground. It's amazing. So can you imagine tincture and blueberries? Blueberries are the most potent antioxidant food. And if alcohol pulls out its antioxidant properties, it will be a super antioxidant tincture, right? Like, it is just amazing to me. It makes me think about all of our foods that are superfoods. You know what I mean? Like even imagine. Well, you know what's funny is I do put beets in my tincture. It's weird. I do put beets. I do put radish, but I put what is it? Horseradish. I put the horseradish in a tincture. So technically, we are tincturing them when we make fire cider, but everybody don't put beets, and don't get me wrong, I don't always put beets, but I do radish, I do turnips, I do horseradish, I do yuca. There's so much that I put into my fire cider, and it's funny. I don't always use the same things as well. I do whatever's in season, like witch peppers and everything, that I'll get to do it. And it's funny because peppers, in the wintertime, but normally I'm not tincturing in the winter. I don't start a tincture in the winter. I start the tincture before the winter, so it's ready for the winter. I start my fire cider, sorry, before the winter so that I have it for the winter. It's funny, but I started before that, so I have it already for the winter. Then when we're getting close to spring, I'll start a new batch. I do a batch of fireside at least 3 times a year, so to always have one ready, And again, this year, right now, the one that I just strained out is so potent, y'all. It's super, super potent. I'll have to send you guys one. God's Desire and Teasy. I have to send y'all a batch of fire cider. I promise you gonna love it. Even though I know you make some God's Desire and Teasy, I have to send you guys some because I know that I definitely, this batch was serious. So, but also I was gonna tell y'all, try to stay away from those plastic cutting boards and things that are out there. I found out that's how a lot of the microplastics are getting in our body, by using them. So, for instance, like I have this one, but it's supposed to be BPA free, and everything, but I still, said, you know what, let me kind of move away. I have a new one. I picked this up from Aldi too. When I got the vinegar, I picked this one up from Aldi. It is a nice bamboo one. You guys can see that. I got that one. I love this one. Um, you could cut on either side, but it has a back that lifts it. So I do that. And then I picked this up also up from Aldi. I love these every time I see them. And then it's funny because every time I go, it's always either one or a broken one. It's never several that I can get. I like these because, like, sometimes I'll bring my things from the garden from home. I'll put it in the basket, bring it here, and I already got a bamboo chopping board already that goes with it. So shout out to Aldi, y'all, because they do make some really great stuff. I'm not even going to lie. But that's this right here. If you guys wanted to see that number on there. Okay. I got you guys, Desire. You already know. I also got some organic pickling cucumbers. I'm going to can these too this weekend. You'll see me do that. I'm going to cut them up now, put them in a Ziploc so they're ready to go. I'm going to tell you, this Renaissance guy I was watching on YouTube, he pickled egg. Well, canned, he water bath canned, no, I think he pressure cooked them, but I'm a water bath can. Eggs. I have so many eggs. I try to give eggs to my children and my family members. I have eggs, extra eggs. So I'm gonna try. He said that you just add hot water to the inside of it when you're gonna can them. Add hot water to the inside, then you put them in the jar, then you put them in the canner, and he said he eat them. They're great because they save all year, or save throughout the season. Crack that back. It was a regular old egg. So think about like eggs, you could have for egg salad, eggs you could have for tuna salad. like eggs because all the holidays are coming, you know, like you want to make you some deviled eggs, you know. So I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And he simply just gently put them in a jar. He added a boiling water to it and closed up the lid, you know, not extremely tight, just nice and taut. And then he put it in a canner. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. I don't know why I didn't see. I know I heard of it before, but watching him do it live in action was like the coolest thing ever. So that is it, my loves. I am going to see y'all in these YouTube streets. I'm going to clean up this mess and head on home. I'm going to see what you guys are doing all over the internet this Thursday night. And then I'm going to take it down. Tomorrow is Friday. I'm already ready for my canon class. So, you know, you stay ready so you don't have to get ready. But I thank you guys so, so, so much. I want to shout you guys out. Thank you so much for watching. If you are watching a replay, I appreciate you so much. And look, I almost forgot to add a bay leaf to it. It just adds to the antimicrobial properties. So these are just simple bay leaves, guys, that I add to my cannon. I don't want to touch it. I'm just going to pour a couple in there, like 3. They're small, they're broken up, so it don't even matter how many you do. Okay, so it is done. See that? That is a beet tincture. I was on there like, can you tincture root vegetables? Tincture root vegetables. I think about it because when we're making herbal medicine, you know, root vegetables, especially the root, are very, very important. So we have tinctured some dandelion and Swiss chard and greens. We've tinctured that, and we tinctured some beets today. I'll take some pictures of me tincturing the beets with the alcohol or the brandy, and I'll post a picture of that on my Instagram. So don't forget to check me out on Instagram. Thank you so much, God's Desire. Check it out on my Instagram, r_r Queen Collection. And I am on TikTok. I've been having so much fun on TikTok. I'm the Glamour Planner on TikTok. Going over there and check out my videos. I made my God's Desire. Oh my God. I've made so much. I haven't had a chance to really chat with you. Go check out my TikTok. All my videos up of me making my herbal salves, my whip butters and hair. I made the most amazing hair conditioner. When I tell you that bad boy it is rosemary, black seed, what else did I put in there? Sea moss, and moringa. Beautiful, beautiful hair conditioner. And I'm telling you, I'm taking these braids out. I'm going to wash my hair and I'm going to add it to it. Is amazing. Like, that's what you got to sample. Okay. Okay. It's okay. I think it's on my Instagram too. I don't know if you're on Instagram, but I think it's on my Instagram too. If not, I'll put it up on the community tab of this page just so that you can see it. But I'll put it up on here. I think I've been forgetting to post it on here. I've been working and doing a lot, and I just be forgetting to put it on here. Only because I've been making those videos and make the really quick videos, like better than YouTube. So I mean better than Instagram. So I've been doing that. But yes, all right. Thank you so, so much. Have a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Thursday into your Friday, and have a great weekend if I don't see you in these YouTube streets. Thank you so much, and thank you for everybody. If you watch the replay, thank you so much. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Have a good night. Thank you. Bye-bye.